WWDC 2026 is just a few days away, kicking off on Monday, June 8th. And this is shaping up to be one of the most important Apple software events in years. This is the year Apple finally lays out its AI plans in full, showing us how it intends to compete with OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, and all of the other AI companies out there with a brand new version of Siri and all the AI features baked across all of its apps. There's a lot to get through, so buckle up. And let's just jump right into it, starting off with the big one, which would be iOS 27. Obviously, iOS 27 will be the main headliner, and the biggest headliner and the biggest story is going to be Siri. I'm going to keep this part relatively tight because honestly, Siri deserves its own video, and I did just make one, so you can actually click the card here in the upper right corner to watch that video and get the full, deep dive of what Siri has to offer this year, but we'll just do a quick run through. The smarter Siri that Apple promised back in 2024 and then delayed for the last few years is finally arriving, and it's built around three core ideas. First is personal context, where Siri can dig into your emails, your messages, files, and photos to actually find things and complete tasks for you. Second is on-screen awareness, which lets Siri see what's on your screen and act on it, like grabbing an address out of text and dropping into a contact card. And third is the deeper app integration, so Siri can perform real multi-step actions in and across both Apple's apps and third-party applications. On top of that, Siri is also becoming a full-on chatbot like ChatGPT or Claude with a dedicated Siri app, web search, document analysis, and image generation. The design is changing too, with Siri largely living inside of the dynamic island and a new swipe-down search or ask feature replacing Siri suggestions or spotlight search. Apple is leaning hard into privacy with on-device processing and auto-deleting chats, and it is opening Siri up to rival chatbots like Claude and Gemini through an extension system. And under the hood, the whole thing is actually powered by Google's Gemini models, thanks to a multi-year deal reportedly costing Apple around $1 billion a year. So that is Siri in a nutshell, but there's a lot more to it, so I highly recommend you check out that video. Now, before we get into the rest of this video, I do want to take a quick minute to tell you more about today's sponsor, Anker, and a product that's been actually in my daily setup lately, and it's from Anker's flagship Prime lineup. This is their new wireless charging station, and it's kind of ridiculous just how much they have packed into something this small. This is a 25-watt max palm-sized 3-in-1 charger with active cooling, and the big thing here is that it is Qi 2 25 watts of wireless charging, which is a massive jump over those old 5 watts or even 15-watt wireless chargers. Like, we're talking about getting an iPhone up to 50% in just 26 minutes wirelessly, which honestly didn't feel possible not too long ago. And what I like is that this replaces basically everything on my desk. I just drop my phone, Apple Watch, and AirPods on here, and that's it. No cables, no clutter, everything charges at the same time, and it just feels way cleaner. It also folds completely flat, so if you travel at all, this thing is a definite no-brainer. It's about the size of a deck of cards, and if you toss it in your bag, unfold it at the hotel, and plug it in, you've got a full setup instantly. And then the other part that's actually really smart is that there's an active cooling system built in, so there's a fan here that keeps your phone from overheating while it's pushing those higher charging speeds, which helps them both in performance and long-term battery health. Plus, it doubles as a stand so you can prop your phone up, take calls, watch videos, or use standby mode while it's charging, which I've ended up using way more than I expected. Anker's new products are truly amazing, so if you want to check it out, click the link below this video to learn more. Thanks, Anker, for sponsoring today's video. Beyond Siri, iOS 27 brings a wave of app updates, starting with the camera. Apple is moving visual intelligence out of the camera control button and into the camera app itself as a new Siri mode that sits alongside your photo, video, portrait modes, and all of the other ones that are listed there. The idea is to make the feature far more visible because right now a lot of people probably don't even know that it exists, and if you never use the long press on camera control or don't have that button, whatever the case may be, now you can see it. It's also getting some new tricks like scanning nutrition labels to feed caloric intakes and all of the tracking into the health app, and scanning phone numbers and addresses off of business cards and putting it straight into the contacts app, etc., etc. On top of all that, the camera app is just getting a lot more customizable with the controls now treated as widgets that you can rearrange and pull from a tray, plus new grid and level options. The Photos app is getting Apple Intelligence editing tools, including Extend, which generates extra image content beyond the original frame when you change a crop, and Reframe, which lets you shift the perspective of a spatial photo after you've taken it. And Apple is also testing natural language photo editing, where you just describe the change that you want, though that one may not make it through the initial release. Shortcuts is getting a great addition where you can describe what you want in plain language, and Siri will use AI and all of that to build the multi-step shortcut for you automatically, which is huge. The Wallet app is adding a create a pass option so you can turn physical tickets and membership cards into digital passes, along with an AI bill splitting feature that reads a receipt photo and generates Apple Cash requests. Image Playground and Genmoji are both getting upgraded models for lifelike, less cartoonish results and better efficiency. And Writing Tools is expanding with a dedicated AI grammar checker that suggests revisions that you can either accept or reject one by one. There are a bunch of smaller but welcome touches too. You'll be able to generate custom wallpapers with Image Playground right from the wallpaper picker. Safari is getting redesigned start page with tabs for favorites, bookmarks, reading list, and history. The Calendar app is rumored to gain AI features. The Weather app is adding a conditions panel to quickly switch between temperature, rain, and wind. The AirPods settings are being reorganized, so things like hearing health are just a lot easier to find. And Apple is also adding the ability to beam content to AirPlay alternatives like Google Cast, though that may be limited to the EU regions only. I guess we'll find out soon. On the design side, iOS 27 brings some system-wide changes. Apple is walking back one of the liquid glass decisions by recombining the separate search tab with the other navigation options in apps like music, podcasts, news, and TV. There's a new keyboard animation, undo and redo controls for arranging your home screen, which would be nice. And Apple may expand that liquid glass opacity slider from iOS 26.2 across the entire system, so you can kind of fine tweak what you may or may not like about liquid glass. There's also a big focus on the foldable iPhone, which launches in September. So iOS 27 is building a new interface for the larger screen that's going to be accompanying that phone, including iPad-style multitasking and sidebars when the device is unfolded, while keeping it a normal iPhone layout when it's closed. But Apple probably won't talk a lot about that, if at all. It'll just kind of be hidden in there and then unveiled when the iPhone Ultra comes out later this year. And rounding out iOS 27, Apple is working on new satellite features like maps and messages, photos over satellite, though some of that may not arrive until 27. There is a strong batch of accessibility updates powered by Apple Intelligence across VoiceOver, Magnifier, Voice Control, and Accessibility Reader, plus automatically generating subtitles for uncaptioned videos. And importantly, Bloomberg is also describing iOS 27 as a snow leopard-style release. And now I know there's a ton of new features that we just talked about via AI and Siri, but outside of that, there's not going to be a lot of new features, but more so just kind of cleaning up all the bugs and improving stability, which is going to be nice. And one quick note on compatibility, iOS 27 is expected to drop the iPhone 11 lineup and the second generation iPhone SE, so no support for those devices or older. Now, let's move on over to iPadOS 27. This one's kind of quick because most of what's coming to the iPhone extends to the iPad as well, including all of the new Siri capabilities. But on top of that, we really haven't heard about any iPad-specific features just yet. So just think about feature parity from iOS 27 mostly being what you get with iPadOS 27. There will probably be some here and there, but haven't really heard a whole lot. With macOS 27, like the others, it's going to adopt the new chatbot Siri with personal context and better app integration, likely with its own standalone Siri app. Interestingly, while we know Siri lives in the dynamic island on an iPhone, how it looks on the Mac is going to be a mystery. The Mac also gets the Photos, Reframe, and Extend tools, the natural language shortcuts creation, the Writing Tools, Grammar Checker, and the improved Image Playground and Genmoji models. Safari on Mac is also expected to use AI to automatically group similar tabs. Bloomberg says Apple is doing a slight redesign to address some liquid glass quirks with shadows and transparency, which makes sense given the criticism that the interface got. But as for now, nobody really knows about any other additional macOS-specific features either. As far as the name goes, we've heard of Big Bear, so macOS Big Bear could be one of the potential rumors for that, but I guess we'll find out when Craig gets out there and makes that crack team marketing joke again, and we find out officially what the name is. Then we have the smaller platform. So watchOS 27 looks fairly modest with new watch faces, including a variant of the new modular Ultra watch face available across all models. and possibly some of the Siri and grammar features trickling on down. tvOS 27 is going to be pretty quiet, we think, but with a new Apple TV expected later this year that supports Apple Intelligence, we could see better recommendations and a more capable Siri for that, plus smart home integrations and a confirmed larger text accessibility option. And visionOS 27 is also said to be light on new features, though it should pick up some of the same AI and Siri updates as everything else. As for new hardware, not really getting our hopes up there. With an all-new Siri and this many software updates to cover, Apple probably does not want to split focus, so the M5 Mac Studio, Mac Mini, possibly new iMac, low-cost iPad, yada yada, things that need to come out, that smart home hub that are all expected later this year probably won't be at this event. If you want to watch along, though, and find out everything that's going to happen, WWDC starts at 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and Apple will stream it live on YouTube, the Apple TV app, all the usual suspects. You can go catch our live coverage over on the MacRumors website, or just come in a couple hours after the event, and I will have a full-on, what you missed at the event, and we'll recap everything. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. So that's what we expect at WWDC. Hopefully a lot of this and more comes true. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you really want to see in the new Siri, in the new upgrades for, iPad and your iPhone and Mac and all of the devices? Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.